Warning: the following program may contain language and other elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. You've been fucking warned.
Hey guys, Johnny Farrow here, and welcome to another episode of Musician Kitchen. Today I am going to teach you how to make amazing chicken cacciatore, very traditional Italian dish. The ingredients we got here, we got boneless, skinless chicken thigh, we got onion, red bell pepper, mushrooms, garlic. We got cans of tomato sauce, crushed tomatoes, as well as tomato paste, some butter, some asiago cheese. We have basil, thyme, and oregano, pepper, salt, and we'll be cooking with avocado oil today. So just a note here on the chicken that I'm using. This is boneless, skinless chicken thigh. I don't very often cook with chicken breasts. I'm just more of a thigh guy than a breast guy, I guess. But in all seriousness, the thigh, the dark meat, is much juicier, a lot more moisture to it. It holds moisture better, and the flavor is just better. So I just really like it better, and that's what I typically will cook with. So we're going to start by getting our chicken seasoned. Before I do that, though, I'm actually going to throw a little olive oil in my pan just to get ready. Also, I am going to be finishing my chicken in the oven. So I have my oven preheated to 375 currently. And for chicken, for the seasoning, we're going to be real simple. Just going to do a little salt and pepper on it. Just like that. Just a little, little fairy dust, right? Flip each piece over. And by the way, when you're working with any kind of raw meat, anything wet, I always like to have a wet hand and a dry hand. The dry hand for the spice, the wet hand for working with whatever it is you're working with. And we're going to go again here. A little salt, a little pepper. Boop, boop, fairy dust. Give that a little pat. I'm going to get my stove going here, medium-high heat. I'm going to let this pan heat up, and I'm going to let it heat up till you can actually see a little bit of smoke rising off of it, because what we're going to do is we're going to sear this meat, and then we're going to actually, again, finish it in the oven. So it's only going to be on the stove for, 4 to 6 minutes, something like that. 2 to 3 minutes per side. All right, so the smoke is just starting to rise off of the pan now, so I'm going to go ahead and drop my chicken in. Get that nice little sizzle happening. And with the pan, you should definitely be doing this in a non-stick pan. Even with that, you may get a little stickage, especially if you have my pan, which is not the greatest. But the oil definitely helps with that. So we're going to let that go for, like I said, 2 to 3 minutes on this side, flip another 2 to 3 minutes. In the meantime, while that's going side by side, I like to multitask. I'm going to get going on getting my veggies and things chopped for my sauce. All right, so we got our onion here. Just chopping off the end here. This is like a good medium-sized onion. I'm using a red onion today, which is kind of my preferred onion, that or a sweet onion for cooking. It's great flavor and great color. So I just got all my outsides peeled off here, so I'm going to just slice. And I'm not going to slice it. I'm going to keep these slices just the normal size. I'm not going to make them any smaller than this. If you like smaller chunks of onion, you can cut this however you like. Just going with these slices here. Going to check on my chicken. And you just want to go with your chicken until it's got a nice brown on it. You're not trying to go super duper crazy with it. All right. We got bell peppers. And my preferred bell pepper technique, cut in half. Thumb jammed in here. And then just rip out their heart, just like that guy in the Indiana Jones movie, just rip the heart out, right? Salimon. I'll just pat it against my palm sometimes to get any excess seeds out. And again, we're just going to do a julienne cut on these. So just lengthwise cuts. about a 1/4 inch thick. Checking on my chicken here. Yeah, it's about ready to flip. And you can see here on this chicken, ooh, that's hot. You can see here on this chicken, you got a nice brown happening there. Nice golden coloration. And I'm only going to use 1½ of my peppers. I'm going to keep a half out. Now some mushrooms. And these are crimini mushrooms. I like them. They got a nice flavor, nice color, and they're inexpensive. And I'm going to use, I don't know, like 6, maybe 8 of them, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That should be fine. And the way I cut mushrooms is I'll just use the tip of my knife and just quickly swipe them that way. The reason for that is that A, you don't need more force than that, and B, if you use the heel of your knife and you happen to grab your finger, you're a lot more prone to hurt yourself. Use the tip of the knife. Even if you happen to like grab your finger a little bit, you're probably okay unless you're using like a crazy sharp knife, in which case, you're fucked either way. Alrighty. Bada bing. Checking out our chicken here. We're almost there. We're almost there. And then while I'm doing this, I'm going to get my other pan happening on a medium-high heat. A little more olive oil. We're going to make sure this is nice and sauté-ish, so to speak. Is that a word? It's a word now, I guess, right? So we'll get that going. I'm not going to let it heat till it smokes. I'm just going to kind of get it going, right? Chicken, I'm turning off. I'm taking off the heat. And what we're going to do with it is we're going to put it into this pan here. Just a glass casserole dish. Let's put these pieces in there. Ooh, sizzly. Not Sicily, but sizzly. Good. Those are just gorgeous, if I do say so myself. I'm going to slide this other pan over because that's just easier for me. And then we're going to pop these in the oven, 375 degrees for about 12 minutes. So I'm going to pop these in, then we'll keep going with our sauce. All right, so we got chicken in the oven, so let's continue with our sauce here. And what we're going to do is we're going to start by getting all of our vegetables just into that pan, which should be plenty warm enough now. And by the way, fair disclosure, this is my take on chicken cacciatore. I am sure that I do things a little different than the traditionalists, the traditional recipe it goes, But this is just how I do it. It's how I like it. So we're going to start off with a little bit of salt on our vegetables. And a little bit of black pepper. Give that all a nice little toss. Alright, so now I'm going to get some garlic chopped up. We're going to use like 3 cloves of garlic. It's an Italian dish, so we can go garlic heavy on this, right? Boop-a-doop. I got a baby one here, so I'm going to go ahead and do 4 cloves, because you know what? Fuck it. Italian dish, I want garlic. And as per usual, just going to whack these with my knife. And as I go with everything I'm doing, I'll just keep going back to my pan, giving little tosses. Keep an eye on the oil. You want to make sure there's always a little bit of oil in the pan. Also, just a note on mushrooms. Mushrooms are porous. They will drink up your oil. So that's one of the reasons I like to go a little heavier on my oil when I cook with them. All right. Getting my garlic on like Donkey Kong. Then, let's give these another whack. and a good mince. So back of my knife, bam, bam. Too much intensity, you can't even handle it. We're just going with, like I said, like a mince on these, you know? So nice and fine. Maintaining good control of my knife while I cut again from one of my prior episodes. Pro tip, holding the knife with thumb and forefinger on the spine of the knife there. Maintain good control. And again, I like a lot of garlic. If you don't like garlic as much, not as big of a fan, but just want a little flavor, you know, don't put in as much. You can put in a couple cloves. Put in 1 clove. You can even leave it out if you really want to. I mean, I don't know why you would, but you can. You know. All right. Just to kind of be ready for things, I'm going to open my cans here. Some diced tomatoes. And then, of course, some tomato paste to thicken things up. And that's kind of like the usual, like for any kind of tomato sauce, that's kind of, you know, base-wise, the main ingredients that are going to go into it. And I myself like to go equal parts sauce to diced tomatoes. You can definitely go less on the diced if you want. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and drop our garlic in. And what I like to do when I drop garlic into a pan like this is I'll make a little ring in the middle, throw a little bit of extra oil in there. And drop the garlic into that oil ring and just kind of let it sit there. And let the oil kind of just pull the flavor out of the garlic. And garlic is delicate, so I always put it in more toward the end of either the dish or, and I'm turning my heat down to like a medium-low, by the way, but like toward the end of the dish or toward the point where it's going to actually have some other things go in to make it a bigger dish, like a sauce, where the garlic's going to kind of float in suspension, not be on direct heat. So it's been sitting on there for a couple of, like 10, 20 seconds. So I'm going to give the garlic a little toss with the vegetables to get them nice and mixed and incorporated. And then I'm going to use my seasonings, my other seasonings here, my basil, oregano, and thyme. Drop some of those in. And again, with these kinds of seasonings, which are like a leafy seasoning, I again treat these the same way as I treat my garlic, because they're a little more delicate, more prone to burning, unlike granular seasonings. Basil I will go a little heavier on than everything else too, by the way. And the other thing is that as I'm doing my seasoning here, I'm actually rubbing these seasonings between my fingers, right? What that does is it activates them, starts pulling some of the flavors out of them, especially with dried seasonings. That's a really important thing to do. Just make sure you're getting all the flavor out of them. A little thyme here, because who couldn't use a little more thyme? I mean, really. But, all right. Toss all that together. And then we're going to throw a little bit of butter in the pan, just to give it a little bit of a more richness. Not much, you know, tablespoon-ish. Just to kind of give it a little depth, a little personality, a little buttery personality. We're buttering up this sauce, so it'll be good to us. All right, and we're just about the point where we want to start adding our tomato stuff. So we'll start with our crushed, or diced rather, tomatoes. Crushed, diced, you know, whatever, same idea. And I'm going to drop my heat even a touch lower, down to like almost to a low. It's because I don't want anything burning, of course. I'll throw in my paste. And then get that mixed in a little bit. And last but not least, tomato sauce. You know, and use whatever brand of canned tomato sauce you like. You can totally make your own sauce if you want to, if you're that into that. So right here, this is your incredible Cacciatore sauce. Nice, full, hearty, Very traditional Italian flavors, Mediterranean flavors in there. So freaking good. So we're just going to kind of let that stuff simmer here. And then once the chicken comes out, we'll let the chicken rest a little bit. Get it mixed in, get it on a plate with some of this sauce, and we'll be off. So stay tuned for that. All right, so we're back. We got our chicken here. It's been resting for about 5 minutes out of the oven, and that is what it looks like. It is absolutely freaking gorgeous. So we're going to take that and plate a little bit of it up here. A couple of nice pieces of thigh. And then our sauce has been simmering for, probably about like 10-ish minutes since we actually dropped all the tomato stuff in. One of the cool parts about the way I do this dish, I saute all the vegetables first, which brings a lot of the flavor out of the veggies. Takes a lot less time for the flavors to meld in this dish. You're really just cooking it to soften up the spices and give things a good mix. Now, you can definitely simmer it longer if you like. Like, just keep watching it and stirring it because you don't want it to stick like crazy. But, simmer it for 30 minutes if you want, 40 minutes, totally up to you. Just really watch it for burning. If you notice it's starting to burn, definitely take it off the heat. But otherwise, if you just keep it super low, it shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and take and just put a little bit of this on here. Look at all those beautiful vegetables in there. Finish it off with a little grated asiago cheese, just a fresh piece of asiago, like it's snowing. And voila, there you have it. Chicken cacciatore, a meal fit for a king or a hunter, which traditionally in Italy, this is what's termed as a hunter's chicken, and this is the style that is. So guys, I hope you like this recipe. Check it out on your own. Let me know how it goes. Let me know how you like it if you try it out. Let me know any ideas you have, things you would like to see to modify this recipe or things you try. I'm interested in all that information. And until next video, guys, I'm Johnny Farrow. I'll see you later. Mwah.